Good day. This is Len Lazarick with MarylandReporter.com, and I'm here today in beautiful Columbia in my treehouse here with Rob Sobhani, an independent candidate for U.S. Senate who got himself on the ballot by collecting signatures and is spending a lot of his own money to run for the United States Senate against Democrat Ben Cardin and Republican Dan Bongino. Thanks for being here, Rob.
Thank you, Len, for having me. Appreciate it. Nice to be in your treehouse.
Yeah. So, why are you doing this? You ran twice before as a Republican,
Yes.
and now you're an independent.
Yes, because Len, I truly feel that both political parties are bereft of ideas. And I soon found out after that election 10 years ago that Republicans and Democrats, they both seem to put the party above the country, below the country. In other words,
Yeah.
you know, that for maybe Mr. Reid and Mr. McConnell, it's their party before their country. And I don't believe that. I believe that we must put the people, we must put our state, and we must put our country before our party loyalties. You know, in my campaign, we've got Republicans working with Democrats. And if we can do it on our campaign, I think we can do it throughout the country. We just need to break this ideological logjam. But you ask me why I'm doing this. This is the greatest country, in my opinion. The United States is an exceptional place, but it's hurting. There's a lot of despair. There's a lot of economic anxiety. And I believe the reason is because people are frustrated with the two-party system. And so I'm running as an independent so that there can be a third voice. And because we need to make sure that when we look at politics, we don't look at it as politics. We look at it as a family issue. Because if one member of the family doesn't have a job, it affects all the family. If one member of the family drops out of school, it affects all the family. And so I look at this campaign really as a family issue.
Dan Bongino, the Republican candidate, a former Secret Service agent, says you're trying to buy this election. And you seem to be running head-to-head with him. I presume you expect to get ahead of him.
Yes. Well, you know, Len, it's unfortunate that, you know, Mr. Bongino says I'm buying the election, but doesn't have any concrete ideas how to move Maryland forward. He doesn't have any solution to bringing in $1 billion into Baltimore to revitalize it. He has no plan to boost Maryland's exports by $1 billion. Senator Cardin, he's attacking through his surrogates my candidacy because he has no idea. And that's why both Republican and Democrat, they don't want me in the debate because they're afraid. They're afraid of a third party who's coming in and saying enough is enough. We need to solve our problems, not go head to head and start complaining and bringing each other down. We need to lift each other up.
Briefly describe some of these public-private partnerships that you've talked about as a way of bringing that money to Maryland that doesn't involve federal spending.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm going to bring in $5.5 billion into the state of Maryland without a cent of it being from taxpayer money. How? Let me give you one example. We've got excellent companies here in Maryland. Black & Decker, Purdue Chicken, Lockheed Martin, small companies that are working on solar. What I'm going to do on day one is going to bring all these companies together. We're going to get on a plane, and we're going to go overseas. And we're going to sign contracts worth $1 billion. Each $1 billion in American exports creates 7,000 jobs. So that's one solution right there, concrete. And Len, if I don't do it in my first term, I'm not running again.
What gives you all these connections?
I'm Len proud of my relationships overseas. I have relationships with the president of Azerbaijan. I have relations with the king of Bahrain, with the Amir of Qatar, with the leaders in the Persian Gulf, with the leaders in Israel. and I'm going to leverage these relationships to the benefit of my state. Israel is a fantastic country for cutting edge technology on solar. Okay? So we're going to take Maryland solar companies, we're going to hook them up with Israeli companies, and then we're going to go win the contracts, which, by the way, in the next 5 years in the Middle East, they're going to spend $500 billion on. If we can get 1% of that, that's $5 billion.
What are they going to spend $500 billion on?
On building solar energy.
$500 billion just on solar?
Absolutely, just on solar, because they're realizing that they're using so much of their oil. And hey, why not, for a change, we sell them something instead of them selling us oil, you know? So that's one. Second, we're going to take $1 billion of private investor money through public-private partnerships, bring it into Baltimore, and build 25,000 new homes. The city of Baltimore is dying. And it's a shame that when you listen to the weather, they say the weather in New York, Philadelphia, Washington is sunny. Baltimore is a pass-through. We're no longer talking about Baltimore, our state's largest city. Why? Because our elected officials have neglected to bring economic development.
Sounds like you should be running for governor or mayor. Why U.S. Senate? I mean, these are things that the governor has tried to do, right? Trips to Israel, trips to Qatar.
Well, I haven't seen the governor successfully bring in $5.5 billion. But I'm happy to work with Governor O'Malley once I bring in the money, because he is the governor and I respect him. So I hope to work with Governor O'Malley once I bring in this $5.5 billion. But Senator Cardin should be an advocate for his state, not just listen to Harry Reid. I am running for the United States Senate because what I'm going to do is use the prestige of the office of the United States Senator to reach out to these leaders that I know, to reach out to these private investors and bring in that money into my state. That's what a senator does. When the Amir of Qatar says that I'm going to build ships and I'm going to give the contracts to South Korea, to Singapore and China, but no one's knocking on my door, that's a shame. Where's Senator Cardin? Where's Senator Cardin not to bring that contract into this port of Baltimore? That's not right. And that's what I'm going to do as a United States Senator.
It's, to wrap this up, but people have clearly seen appeal in all the TV ads that you've done and the kind of things that you're talking about here, but there is concern that by some people that you really are the kind of conservative Republican, but parading as some kind of independent. How do you dissuade them from that?
I'm first and foremost an American. When I bring in $1 billion to build homes, those homes aren't Republican or Democrat, they're American homes. When we finally build a second deck on 495 and 695 Baltimore Beltway, that deck doesn't belong to the Democrat Party or Republican Party. That deck belongs to Marylanders, to the American people. When I bring in $500 billion into the state to fight cancer, cancer doesn't discriminate against a Democratic body or a Republican human being. It's an American life that's being lost and hopefully saved. So I challenge those people to stop labeling, because it's the labeling that's killing us. We are Americans. First and foremost, we're Americans. Then we're parents, we're community organizers. Let's start this labeling. The labeling is killing America, and that's why Rob Sobhani is going to win in November.
Thanks very much for being with us today. Thanks for watching. You can read more about Rob Sobhani's opinion on other issues, including taxes and the budget and entitlements, at MarylandReporter.com.